Ladies and gentlemen, we interrupt your regularly scheduled programming to bring you this special bulletin. Be careful what you say out there on the internet. Be careful what you do, because you may get around to inadvertently hurting somebody's feelings, especially when it comes to video games, because that appears to be the case in this latest article from that Park Place. Genshin Impact and Hoyoverse boycotters rage and promise to escalate efforts after company's revenue increases nearly 10% despite a boycott. A boycott it's been going on for a little while, or an attempted, obviously failed boycott, mentioning things like cultural appropriation and whitewashing from a Chinese company. I'm sure their feelings, I'm sure they're hurting. I'm sure they're concerned about your futile little attempt at the boycott. According to Gacha Review, Hoyoverse's newly released game, Zenless Zone Zero, that's a little fun. I played that for a little bit. Might go back to it tonight. Raked in a total of 99.8, Jesus Christ, million in revenue for the month of July. 1 month? Holy, okay. It also brought in 40.3 million from Honkai Star Rail and another 37.3 million from Genshin Impact. Between the three games, Hoyoverse grossed $177.4 million for the month of July. That is outrageous. These are free-to-play games. So, is this cosmetics, quality of life, microtransactions? What on earth? I'm sure it's got... these are gacha games, so yeah. In comparison, Hoyoverse grossed a total of 163 million between the three just between Honkai Star Rail and Genshin Impact in June. Thus, the company's saw revenue increase 8% between June and July. If you go back to May, it looks even better. Hoyoverse grossed 144 between Genshin Impact and Honkai Star Rail. July's grosses are 23%, so their revenue just keeps going up and up and up. In what looks like copy-paste with a few editing changes here. I mean, there are stories in these games, but it's the gacha mechanics. It's the roll to get the new item. I believe that's the case for Genshin Impact. I might have to go check it out. Despite the boycott clearly not having any effect whatsoever, John's going to get into the boycott shortly. It's a long one. Something I'd consider doing some videos about, but this looks to be the perfect time, especially when, when you have a group of people who are a little bit butthurt about one thing or another and trying to implement a boycott on the game. We saw how that worked with Harry Potter Hogwarts Legacy. Harry Potter Legacy. Hogwarts Legacy. In other words, it didn't. Boycotts like this, when you try to push your ideological nonsense on a gaming company, especially, in this case, one in another country that could not care less about your nonsense, they're just going to keep pushing out games, do their best to make it fun, make it pretty with all the bells and whistles, and, I don't know, make the female characters look like females. They're going to be a success. They're going to be fun little pastimes that people are going to play, and you're just going to get butthurt and stay butthurt and be ignored. Let's see. Ex-user Avin of Strats posted, "We're just getting started. The boycott isn't going anywhere until we achieve our goals." You might want to change your goals if you expect to achieve anything. "We will keep escalating until Hoyoverse stop whitewashing and provide authentic representation in their games." It's a Chinese company. They don't care about your representation. I've got some bad news for you. Harbinger Girls posted, "Remember to keep boycotting." Yes, please do. I'm pretty sure Hoyoverse is praying, hoping, especially after the increase in sales over month to month. They want you to keep boycotting. They want you to keep screaming from the rafters on social media to give them all the free advertising possible. They don't have to do anything. You're doing the work for them. Don't forget to sign the petition if you haven't yet. My goodness, the petition, which currently sits at over 104,000 signatures, explains why these individuals are boycotting. It states, "We call on MiHoYo to stop cultural appropriation. It's a video game. It's make-believe. Do you realize that? It does not take place in the real world. Stop cultural appropriation and whitewashing in their games, and to commit to respectful and accurate representation of all cultures." It continues, MiHoYo, a leading game development company in China, has repeatedly taken inspiration, inspiration. Oh, wait, that's true. Skin tone changes, melanin content can only be changed in one direction, and you are proving everyone's point right now. You can change a Greek deity, I believe, or a Viking individual, a known person, from melaninless skin tone to far more dark complexion. No one wants to bat an eye. It's okay. It's not cultural appropriation. It's an adaptation. But if you do it the other way around and take inspiration, as it says here, from indigenous culture without proper representation and respect, well, then that's not okay. How you are proving the point that it only works in one direction. How about that? In particular, the many characters from Sumeru and Natlan and Genshin Impact, and from Penacony and Honkai Star Rail are all clearly white or only lightly tanned at best, with the exception of some enemy NPCs. Oh my goodness, we can't have enemy NPCs have a darker complexion because we're killing them, which has sparked concerns of racism among players and indigenous communities. This last part, indigenous communities, I'm going to call you a liar, because that's generally, as a whole, that's never the case. It's always a bunch of pasty-faced Peckerwood white women screaming from the rafters, looking for some reason to justify their existence, getting up every day just to find something to be offended by. And I guess a Chinese gaming company putting out video games, that's your latest target. It's going to go about as well as you would think, because they don't care. Your little itty-bitty boycott is failing miserably, and of course, as usual, doing the exact opposite of what you wanted to do. Next, it declares, quote, cultural appropriation and whitewashing perpetuate harmful stereotypes. Is anybody actually getting hurt from a video game? Okay. Diminish the rich cultural heritage of indigenous communities. How? It's make-believe. It's not real. These practices not only misrepresent cultures, but also, it's not real! Oh, God. But also contribute to ongoing marginalization and disrespect. It then issues a list of demands. Oh, here we go, ladies and gentlemen. This ought to be fun. MiHoYo 2, engage with indigenous cultural consultants. No. Revise existing... Well, let me back up a little bit. Right now, there's a massive ongoing campaign against so-called consultants. And I believe these cultural consultants for a Chinese company, sorry, Japan, I didn't mean to do that, for a Chinese video game developer to care about these consultants, I don't see that happening for you. Revise existing what I was saying, there's an ongoing campaign that is anti-consultancy groups, SBI, Black Girl Gamers, the like, all these consultancy groups getting their grubby little fingers, being involved in video games, and you have a whole swath, well over 400,000 in one Steam curator group, who don't want to touch these games, any game where one of these consultancy groups is a part of. So I don't think they're going to listen to you. I don't think MiHoYo or Hoyoverse or any of these games are going to listen to anything you have to say. It would probably be more detrimental to their bottom line if they did listen to you. Revise existing content, no, to ensure accurate representation. It's a video game. Did I mention that? It's not real. Commit to creating diverse and inclusive characters. On top of this petition, an X account called HYV Boycott, I guess that would be Hoyoverse Boycott, also declares, quote, I think it's safe to say that we have all had enough of the erasure of all cultures and identities. Okay. This idea that a video game, regardless of where it's developed, could have an effect, a legitimate real-world effect on actual cultures, the erasure of a culture. I do have one question, though. Where is all your fire against the game like, oh, I don't know, Assassin's Creed Shadows, where you completely disregard the use of using both protagonists, male and female, using a Japanese character in feudal Japan. But no, we don't care about that. That is the okay erasure of culture and identities. This one, no, absolutely not. Today, I introduce you all to Boycott Hoyoverse. We will be an account sharing how you can boycott. Spread the word. Everything helps. Again, I don't think this is going to go very well for you. Obviously, it's not so far. The account adds, there has been a distinct lack of darker skin tones represented in the game, so don't play it. Characters from these cultures are actively being heavily referenced, but are being whitewashed. This is especially noticeable and ever-present in not only the Sumeru and Natlan, but also other nations. These practices not only misrepresent said cultures, it's a video game, but also contribute to the ongoing marginalization in a video game and disrespect in a video game that is perpetuating colorism in a video game that takes place in a make-believe world. Fiction. Colorism, oh, from a Chinese... Anyway, I'm repeating myself. I do apologize, but this is absolutely mind-boggling that you would go after a Chinese company about a fake video game. If this was some sort of... If this had some sort of legitimate tie to the real world and was trying to teach, trying to educate people, get them to learn about actual cultures, not ones they were inspired by, because inspiration means nothing, because unless they're using the exact same names in historical records, then no, I don't see the point of being 100% accurate. Do whatever you want. Make it fun. Oh, by the way, make it fun first. And apparently that's what Hoyoverse is doing. They're making it fun first because they're making hundreds of millions of dollars a month. Causing even more harm. The video game is causing harm. Then good to communities and groups of individuals who are part of them. Boo, fucking who. A couple of the boycotters have shared responses they've received from Hoyoverse. Oh, this is fun. Ex-user Haunted Face. Haunted Fae. Okay, sorry. Thought that was a C. Who has apparently deleted his account. Good for you. Put your money where your mouth is. Stop playing the game that you can't stand, that you hate, that you despise, that you want them to change. Put your money where your mouth is. Good for you. Message he received from MiHoYo informing him that the game is fictional. You don't say. The user posted, this is fun. Genshin is not real. What kind of response is this when a player submits feedback about the racism and colorism? It's to let you know that, hey, maybe take a chill pill. Embarrassing, unprofessional behavior from a company of grown-ups. Oh, really? Okay. Please be kindly reminded that Genshin Impact is a work of fiction and not related to actual people, events, groups, or organizations. We do really hope for your understanding. Kind regards, Genshin Impact Customer Service Team. Now that is the Chad response. Never thought I'd be using that word in a video. That's the response. It is a work of fiction, not related to actual people, events, groups, or organizations. But you're going to screech and moan and groan from the rafters like a freaking owl or a bat to try and get the company, the Chinese game developer, that's the funniest part, to change their hard work because you want them to. Okay. I know there are some parts on our side that are screaming from the rafters as well to adjust the female models in games. Maybe work on making the game fun first before you start putting ideological checkboxes. Is this any different than what's the campaign that the Gamergate 2 people are on? No, it's not. Wait, is it the same? Yes, it is. It is pretty much the same. The difference is we actually put our money where our mouth is more often than not. We shut our wallets for the nonsensical games that end up being terrible. The difference here is, well, the Hoyoverse games apparently are fun because they're making hundreds of millions of dollars a month. So we'll see. I guess we can sit there and look at it. We'll see whose campaign works first, won't we? Let's keep going. Most recently, ex-user Cavinator claimed that a canned response was a victory. Oh, really? The user wrote, this is a response I got from HYV. Almost said HIV. I do think they're being careful with their words now because of the backlash. Oh, I bet there are. They're reminding you that this is a work of fiction. The message from Hoyoverse states, "Thank you for contacting us. We really appreciate your feedback. To update you, we have recorded your opinions and forwarded them to the appropriate team." That would be the trash can. If you have any other suggestions about our game, you can also feel free to share them by opening Paimon menu and clicking feedback suggestion box. Wish you a joyful journey. Oh, I bet that you think that's a win, don't you? What do you make of these reactions from the Genshin Impact and Hoyoverse boycotters? Well, like I said before, compare that to the Sweet Baby or DEI detected campaign and see how that's going out for you. We care about fun games. We want games to be fun. We don't care about ideological bullshit. We don't care about representation or whitewashing. We generally don't care. When you put a work of fiction in front of us and it makes sense in the world, then, and it's fun, it's got to be fun, then we're going to keep on playing. We're going to keep on enjoying the game. But when the ideological nonsense is front and center and to the detriment of the fun part, then it's going to fail. We're going to vote for with our wallets. I'd like to see, I wonder what kind of August? Is that 10% revenue going to go up again? Is it going to be 15 or 20%, continuing to go up and up and up and up, no matter how hard they try, no matter what they do to boycott this game? It looks like it's just going to be another Hogwarts Legacy. But let me know what you think in the comment section down below. Leave a like, leave a dislike, do all those nifty little things us YouTubers beg you to do, and I hope to see you on the next one.